Hi guys, welcome back to my Safe Space Kitchen. So today I have a quick and easy recipe and it is my green herb marinade. This marinade is so good. You can use it to marinate your chicken, your fish, your beef, your pork. You can use it in your stew, your soups, and a little goes a long way. This stuff is so good. This recipe was shared by my mother-in-law, and since she shared it with me, I've never looked back because it's that good. So I'm going to be sharing it with you guys today. But in the meantime, if this is your first time coming across my page, this is my Safe Space Kitchen. I make cooking videos and I try to make it as fun as possible. Hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you will not miss another video. Now let's get into this recipe. So this is everything that I'm going to need for this particular recipe. So here I have my basil. Everything here has already been washed, so I just wanted to throw that out there. I have my rosemary. I have some tarragon. I have some thyme. I have some sage. And I have some oregano. Those are the herbs that I'm going to be using. I also have my peeled ginger. You can choose to peel it, you can choose not to. I prefer to peel it. I have some garlic and I have my oil that I'm going to be using to blend. And as always, all these ingredients will be listed in the description down below. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm simply going to go ahead and transfer all of my herbs into my blender. Now by doing that, I go ahead and pull all of the leaves from the stems of my herb, and that's all I'm going to be doing. So I get rid of the parts that I know that, are no good to use, and then I just continue to do that. So that's all I'm going to be doing here, you guys. This recipe is really simple, like I told you. So yeah, just stay tuned.
Safe Space Kitchenette. Make room at the table. Make room. Safe Space Kitchenette. It's running directly. Ghanaian flavors. Safe Space. Sprinkled with American goodness.
So once all of my herbs are in my blender, I go ahead and I add my garlic, and then to this I'm also going to be adding my ginger. Now I go ahead and I cut up my ginger into smaller pieces because ginger tends to be a little bit difficult to blend, and so you want to cut it up into smaller pieces to make the blending process a little easier. Now I know you're wondering, where's my cutting board, right? I'm comfortable cutting ginger in my hands, and that's okay. If you're not comfortable, go ahead and get a cutting board and cut up your ginger that way, right? You just want to make sure you're doing it safely. So once that's done, I go ahead and I add my oil. Now adding your oil will depend on how much herbs you have. I noticed that my oil was not enough because it was not blending. And one thing, you don't want to add any water to this particular marinade. And so I went ahead and added the rest of my oil, and then I just started blending it. Even with that oil, it was still a little difficult, so I kept pushing it down to make sure, everything was blending and that, it was blending evenly. So I am done blending my marinade, and this is the consistency that I want. Again, you don't want it to be too runny. This is the perfect consistency. It looks so beautiful. Look at how green that looks, and it smells so good. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you guys how I store my marinade. So here I have an ice cube tray and I have my mason jar. So I'm going to go ahead and separate this, right? So what's going to go in my mason jar is what I'm going to be using in the meantime until it runs out. So I go ahead and separate this. I put some in my mason jar, and this is what's going to go in my refrigerator, right? I have a couple of things that I have to do this week, and I'm definitely going to be using some of my marinade. So this is going to go in my regular refrigerator, and then the rest I'm going to go ahead and scoop it into my ice cube tray, and I'm going to go ahead and freeze this.
Safe Space Kitchenette. Make room at the table. Come on. Safe Space Kitchenette. It's running directly. Safe Space Kitchenette.
So my marinade cubes are completely frozen. So all that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and transfer this into my Ziploc bag, and I will pop it back in my freezer. Now if you have room in your freezer and you want to keep it in your ice cube tray, that's completely fine, but I don't, so I go ahead and transfer it into my Ziploc bag and I keep it in my freezer, and that's how I store it. Like I told you guys, this thing is so good, and a little goes a long way, like I said. So depending on what I'm using it for, sometimes I will use like 1 cube, sometimes I will use 2, you know, it all depends on what I'm using it for. So in my coming videos I will show you guys how I use this green herb marinade. But this is the end of this video, you guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for helping me grow my channel, and until next time, I'll see you in my next video.